Here we are, part 18 within my vinyl collection series, and we're just about to finish up the Fs. This is going to take forever to do. I want to get this series done and over with, but it's like we're not even halfway done. We still got so much more to talk about. So hopefully I can have the motivation to maintain just sticking with this series for the next couple of months. But anyway, other than that, what's going to be playing in the background is going to be Spectre with their latest album from 2016, The Art to Disappear. This is a black metal band that is just all instrumentals, kind of experimental with elements of industrial, and the real selling point for you guys is that it's from France. So that's all I really need to say. So anyway, let's get back on to showing some records. We start off part 18 with Flooded Church of Asmodatus with their album Piss-Soaked Church of the Wrong, a total holocaust of those who turn the other cheek. Yeah, one hell of a title. This right here is a black metal project from Finland that blends black metal and harsh noise together. And really, I can't emphasize this enough, this is the only thing that's really worthy of being checked out by them, because it's their only album that they actually use black metal. Everything else is just straight up power electronics and noise that really isn't doing anything all that appetizing or appealing, whereas this album's actually kind of fun to an extent because it's very bass heavy, noisy black metal. It's the track Holding Out for Lucifer. That song is so fun and catchy for a black noise song. But other than that, the only other thing to bring up here is that I know one of the members is the owner of Bestial Birth Records, and pretty sure both the members within this are a part of another black metal band, which is Ride for Revenge, which basically Ride for Revenge is like, think of Intolerantarian, just more experimental and nowhere as edgy, is basically what Ride for Revenge sounds like. But other than this was put out through Final Agony, shit, probably back in like 2016 or 2017. I know I've had this for a while, and I'm not really sure if it's still available. I guess check out Discogs if you really want it, but again, this is really the only thing that's worthy of getting by them. As for the layout and packaging, it's really bare bones. You have this yellow piss-soaked looking artwork, backside with the track listings. Comes on a standard black vinyl along with an insert sheet with a band picture right there, credits on the other side, and the band names and how they tell what instruments they play are just absolutely ridiculous. You got Adolf Christ, which is baseball bat drumming, hands destroyed. Martin Hitler King, low frequency graveyard disturbances, and Judas Schindler, which is tortured string axe, satanic vocal arts. Fucking ridiculous. Up next is Flying Lotus Cosmogramma. Flying Lotus is done by Steven Ellison, and everything this guy does, whether he does his main projects, which is Flying Lotus or Captain Murphy, or he does special guest spots for other people. I know he's done some work with Thundercat, which that album is like a funk album, which is really awesome, and I would love to get a copy of it. To even his like directive works, I know he directed a movie called Kuso, which is a fucking trip. It's always going to be trippy, abstract, and out there, but it's so intriguing and such a, you know, a treat to the ears, basically, anything this guy does. And for a lot of people, Cosmogramma is like the pinnacle of his creativity, because this album is a fucking trip and it's incredible. The genres you'll find on this album, there's like too many to name, but from what I've searched up, a lot of people kind of label it like this abstract, psychedelic, future jazz type of album, which I don't even know what future jazz is. I just see the genre kind of like tagged with it. So if anyone wants to elaborate what that exactly is, I'm all ears to learn what future jazz is. But I guess like at the foundation of Flying Lotus, it's like really abstract, trippy R&B beats, but even that is just, it doesn't feel right. Like, I don't know exactly what to call Flying Lotus, other than it's just like an audible experience unlike anything else, which maybe that's really basic bitch of me to say because I don't know really that much outside of music like this, but Steven Ellison, all I can say is anytime he's a part of anything he does, it's going to be different. With all that being said, I would definitely say if you want like the best of his work in terms of beats and experimentation, all instrumentals, there's no guest spots of vocals being played onto this album, definitely start with Cosmogramma. As for the layout and packaging, you have album artwork right here, kind of spot glossed a bit. Backside comes on a gatefold. Double LP, but come on printed inner sleeves. Both inner sleeves are basically identical, so I'll just show you one of them. So you have all this weird looking abstract artwork on one side, and all the credits on the other. I also have the follow-up LP, which is You're Dead. This is the album that I discovered by him, and the music videos for this album, wow, it's really weird. I'll just leave it at that, some of the music videos. That this album is kind of all over the place, which is something you would probably hear a lot of people say about Flying Lotus's work, because again, it's just so fucking trippy, the beats and experimentation and music being played here. It's like one minute will be all funk fueled, then it'll be like jazzy, it's like psychedelic jazz sometimes, psychedelic funk the other times. Like, it's just, it is such a trip that the artwork for this album speaks for itself, what it feels like listening to it. But I would definitely say this is another great place to start out with Flying Lotus, because it has some recognizable voices on here. I know Kendrick Lamar is a guest spot in one of the tracks. You also have Snoop Dogg, which really never been crazy for him, but I know he's also a part of this as well. And just, again, the laundry list of guest spots, all the different types of instrumentation you'll get on this album is just mesmerizing. It's definitely another project that if you want something really different and out there for just music as a whole, just regardless of genre, you definitely need to check out Flying Lotus. So the best two places to start, in my personal view, Cosmogramma and You're Dead. As for the layout and packaging, you have this very trippy looking artwork. Backside comes on a gatefold, double LP with printed inner sleeves, so you have side 1 and 2, along with side 3 and 4. The final LP I have by Flying Lotus is the latest album, Funebrarum, which for a lot of people, they didn't really care for. I've noticed on a lot of reviews I've watched and seen about Funebrarum, a lot of people kind of complain that this album is really tamed for Flying Lotus. It's not as, trippy or psychedelic. It doesn't really have this signature sound here, which I feel like a lot of people are comparing this album to the previous albums like Cosmogramma and You're Dead, and not really appreciating, this for what it is. That being said, I mean, on a good day, this album's kind of like for me at least, like a 6 out of 10. Like, at first I dug it, but now it's like, I definitely see where the complaints kind of stem from, because another thing that's kind of annoying about this album is it runs over 90 minutes long. There's a lot of content here, so there's a lot of filler moments within it to kind of get through, to get really through the banger tracks. Because I know one of the standout tracks is, I think it's called Black Balloons, which has Denzel Curry as a guest spot, and really the only good thing about that track is that Denzel Curry's verses really carry the track to make it a standout. And another thing too that's pretty interesting is that David Lynch, I'm pretty sure, has a spot within this album, which makes it quite the standout. But other than that, it's just really tamed for Flying Lotus standards. That out of the 3 LPs I have by this project, it's probably the one I played the least amount of times. But yeah, really nothing much more else to say. As for the layout and packaging, I mean, that's pretty cool with it. So you have album artwork, backside. Comes on a gatefold, but it is a pop-out gatefold, which is pretty different looking. Double LP that come on these printed inner sleeves are basically identical. This kind of holographic look to it, which is pretty cool. And my vinyl variant comes on the special limited edition, which is crystal clear. Up next is Forhist with their self-titled release. Forhist is a black metal band from Russia that was a part of the Blaze Birth Hall inner circle that overall, to me, Forhist was the only band that really stood out within that inner circle because everything about it is just pretty standard black metal for the most part. It's nothing terrible. It's nothing I would say is, you know, bad or like don't check out. But Forhist is the only thing that really has standout features. It feels more harmonizing. Reminds me a bit again of the sounds you would get with Ascaria, because there's also clean vocals utilized within this release that, again, it reminds me of Ascaria with that harmonizing sound. So really, you know, enjoyed this release the most out of everything within the Blazebirth Hall roster. Other than that, pretty sure this is a bootleg because it doesn't really look that legit. I mean, the numbering on the back here seems pretty fake, as it's, you know, 207 out of 500, but it's really smudged, and I don't know, I'm pretty sure it is a bootleg because I've seen a lot of forums and posts saying everything after the first press is a bootleg if you're talking about Blazebirth Hall releases. As for the layout and packaging, you have album artwork, backside with the track listings, comes with an insert sheet with lyrics, and my vinyl variant comes on Forhist green LP. Proceeding on to Förgjord. Again, hopefully I'm saying that right. I talked about this release a handful of months ago in one of my videos, which was my special Hell's Headbangers unboxing video. And yeah, all it really is just really straightforward, stripped down, finished black metal. Like, if you know what the scene and sound is of finished black metal, you'll find all those components onto this release. Like, if you're a fan of Satanic Warmaster, you'll love it, because it's put out through Werewolf Records, which I've noticed a lot of bands signed to that label sound like Satanic Warmaster, basically because the owner of the label, as you would guess, is Werewolf of Satanic Warmaster. But yeah, other than that, if you want to get this release, get it through either Hell's Headbangers, and if you're from Europe, you can get it in the Werewolf Records distro. But as for the layout and packaging, you have album artwork, backside, and in true black metal fashion, comes on a standard black vinyl. Then I have Forhist. This is the latest and newest band from the vocalist of Blue Aus Nord. This is a side project that basically this whole album pays homage to the Norwegian black metal scene from the 90s. Like, there's such blatant, obvious influence being shown within the album that it's undeniable. Like, think of the Norwegian black metal scene, and think of the first 3 albums that come to mind, regardless of which band it is, and I can promise you that all 3 have influence on this album. It's just undeniable. Like, if you're a fan of Over, Emperor, Mayhem, Burzum, Immortal, Enslaved, you'll hear it, trust me, and it's awesome, this album. It's done in a tasteful way. It doesn't feel like it's ripping it off or done in like a very, you know, like it does like in a plagiarist type of way. It's just very respectful and very awesome of an album. Not sure why I said respectful, but you get the idea. It's just done very well. But yeah, other than that, you can get this through Devermorty Records. Pretty sure it's still available. I know I got this on the Bandcamp, but definitely check out Devermorty because they still should be carrying copies because they're a very reliable distro. As for the layout and packaging, you have album artwork. Backside comes on a gatefold, and this vinyl edition comes on clear with brown splatter. Up next is the latest full length by Forteresse. These guys are so awesome. Probably one of the most respected and reliable Quebec black metal bands, that everything they have done is just grade A material, and it sucks that it's so hard to get anything by them. I remember getting this the day of its release because just like panic buying, because I knew it would sell out within like the weekend's time, because I know it was like high quantity, but it's still sold out fairly quick, because Forteresse has probably one of the most dedicated and die-hard fan bases that I've seen within black metal. Like, anything they do, it gets like a shit ton of praise, and it's deserved. Like, it's truly epic black metal that doesn't feel over the top. It feels like there's like genuine, I guess, I don't want to say patriotism, because I know they're like a national Quebec black metal band, which is not, you know, sketchy. It's not national socialist. It's a big difference right there. But it feels like there's like genuine, I guess, pride within this album. Like, you know, the cultures between Quebec and Canada, them wanting to be their own separate country, yada yada yada, you know, all the political bullshit. But it just feels like there's genuine pride with every Forteresse release, and this album right here showcases that in the more aggressive way, whereas the previous full lengths, which thankfully the debut got a repress, which I bought up right away, has more of like an ambient and atmospheric edge to it. This is more like, you know, the aggressive approach that they have. Still truly epic, and I love spinning this album. But yeah, again, they've done a lot of represses for this, and it still sells out within a blink of an eye. So hopefully they keep this back up in print real soon, because when Forteresse does LP presses, I can't stress it enough. Either get it the weekend it's pressed, or forget it. It's going to go on Discogs for triple digits. As for the layout and packaging, you have album artwork. Backside comes with an A2 poster of the album artwork. Standard black vinyl, but does come with a printed inner sleeve with lyrics on one side and band picture on the other. Alright, now for some power violence. This is fucking Invincible with their album It'll Get Worse Before It Gets Better. Fucking Invincible, which is the band name, is a power violence band that I remember catching at the Maryland Death Fest, I think 2016. And to me, this is more like a more traditional sense of power violence of like how Nails does it. It's very similar to that of blending, you know, crust punk and hardcore, elements of grindcore at some parts. But yeah, this is just a very hateful, angry album that I know for power violence standards, it's nothing different. It's nothing, you know, really breaking new grounds or something that's, you know, different from the rest of the pack. But really the selling point for me really was the fact that Armageddon had this for like $5. I mean, come on, a power violence band like fucking Invincible for $5? Hell yeah, I'll buy it. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. As for the layout and packaging, you have album artwork, backside of the track listing, standard black vinyl, but it comes with a band picture on one side and lyrics on the other. Then I have Fukpig. This is their full-length Spewings from a Selfish Nation. This right here is a side project for some of the members of Anona Throck, which obviously that would gain my interest when I found out about Fukpig. And really all it is think of Anona Throck, their elements of, you know, black metal, grindcore, and industrial, but instead of industrial and their strong usage of black metal, replace it with crust punk, and that's essentially what Fukpig is. It's a blend of crust punk, black metal, kinda, a little bit, like it's dark crust punk with elements of grindcore. And I would say this is their best album easily, because it just feels like the onslaught of noise and just instrumentation is just always going. Like it never gives you a breath of air to kind of recuperate your senses. It is just like an onslaught from start to finish. And really this is like their only album that I would consider to be like great. Everything else they've done ranges from to okay, and this is their only one that goes like the next level in my personal view. So if you want to check out Fukpig, check this album out. As for the layout and packaging, you have album artwork, backside, and this is limited to 150 copies. I have number 76, and this LP variant comes on lime green. As well too, I have their self-titled full length. That this is where they start to dip down a bit in quality. I mean, it's the album that I would consider to be good, and that's about it, because instrumentally it's really basic, you know, crust punk type of beats and sounds you'll get with the instrumentals, with the riffs and drumming. Really the only thing that sells me about this album is the vocal department. It has that just really crazy over-the-top sound that is similar to that of Dave Hunt's style within Anona Throck. I know the vocalist for Fukpig is the live bassist for Anona Throck, so again the similarities are there. It's just the punk version of it. But yeah, the drumming on here is kind of overproduced, which kind of loses all the aggression and just anger you'll find with it. So again, it's just like, it's good to okay, and that's really all I have to say about this album. I know they had a special edition years ago, which would have been cool to get, that it comes with this mask right here of the album, which was like limited to like 50 copies, but that's impossible to get now. As for the layout and packaging, you have album artwork, backside with track listings, limited to 200 copies, but it's not limited there, as they X'd it out for whatever reason. And also on the spine it says not for sale to pricks, which is that good old UK punk scene style for you. And my vinyl edition comes on like this black and white smoky swirl look to it. And the final thing I have by Fukpig is their 2018 full-length Bastards. This is where the band really starts to lose me, because I know they have other releases after this, but I've kind of given up on them because really it's like half of the album is good and the other half is really bad. Like the first half, it's like, it sounds like everything I'm accustomed to with Fukpig. It sounds good. Again, the cliches of crust punk and grindcore that, aren't really doing anything different other than just being, really hectic and crazy sounding are there, but, it's fun for the most part. But the second half, it's just like something went wrong, because it sounds like the mixing and mastering just dulled out. Their playing has just gotten even more basic, and it's just really boring the second half. Because one of the tracks is Detest. That song is pure garbage, because they have this guest spot. I don't know who exactly it is, but she sounds like the girl from Agoraphobic Nosebleed, which is not a good thing, because I cannot stand that band. And it is so fucking repetitive, that song, that it's like I get headaches listening to that track. And that's not a good thing if I can just automatically call that out just from like how repetitive it is. It's just, again, it's literally like the second half, it's like someone just fell asleep behind the production on this. It is just so bad. But, after this album, I've kind of given up, because another thing, too, is that the only thing that really, is a standout thing about Fukpig is the vocal department, because it reminds me so much of a Nolan Throck. But here, it's like now you can kind of understand what he's saying, because they're putting more emphasis on the crust punk side of things with this. And he's like literally cussing every verse to the point that it gets sickening. Imagine me talking about an album, and yeah, I do cuss every now and then, but imagine every single thing I say. I'm saying fuck, cunt, and bastards over and over again. At some point, you're going to tell me to shut up. That's how this whole album is, its whole runtime, and it's just like, come on, just like, you don't need a cuss to really put emphasis on how angry you are in every single verse. It's so annoying. But anyway, other than that, for the layout and packaging, you have album artwork, backside with the track listings, comes with a lyric sheet, and this vinyl edition comes on lime green with splatter. Alright, yes, next up is Funebrarum with their sophomore album, The Sleep of Morbid Dreams. Yes, this is just such ass-kicking death metal right here from start to finish. Obviously, it takes a lot of influence from Incantation, but they just fucking own it, and it's just so awesome of an album. That their debut, I wasn't that crazy for. It's a little bit sloppy. I mean, it's good for what it is, but the drumming kind of throws it off balance a bit. Here, they really tightened up their sound, and it works so much for them for the better, I feel like. And I feel like a lot of bands that come from the $20 spin roster that play death metal try to be this. And to me personally, Funebrarum is one of the very few, incantation worship bands that do it very well, because it doesn't really feel like they're trying so hard to be, the next Incantation. It just has a very dark, morbid, twisted sound to it with just a lot of just heavy execution going on. It's basically like, you know, a dark, morbid death metal album that's just playing to its strengths, and that's all you can say about it, and that's what makes it so good. So definitely check out Funebrarum, because this album crushes. As for the layout and packaging, you have album artwork, backside. Comes with an insert sheet with lyrics and band picture. And this LP variant is the special limited edition on semi-translucent blood red vinyl. Second to last is going to be Funereal Prescense with Acatheus. Funereal Prescense is done by the drummer, I'm pretty sure, of the band Negative Plane. And for me personally, Negative Plane is the best black metal band in terms of the whole US BM scene. And the best way to describe Negative Plane is think of the very thrashy sounds of first wave black metal mixed with the icy cold, evil, diabolical atmosphere of second wave black metal. That's basically what Negative Plane is altogether. Now attach Negative Plane with Funereal Prescense, but it's like the more experimental, emotive version of it, and this album is absolutely incredible from start to finish. Easily one of the best metal releases of 2019 for me personally, that it deserves all the praise that it got. And thankfully they've been keeping it in print for the time being, so a lot of distros have this. And it is just so awesome. Alright, it feels refreshing, but still at the same time familiar for a lot of black metal fans. That, again, if you're a fan of Negative Plane, you'll absolutely love this. If you're a fan of just extreme metal, but you want more of a twist to it, you'll definitely resonate with Funereal Prescense. As for the layout and packaging on this release, you have album artwork, backside with the track listings. Comes on a standard black vinyl with a printed inner sheet with side 1 of lyrics and side 2 with credits. And the final record for this vinyl collection series part is going to be Frienosk with his album Thorn. I believe this is the second latest album by Fyrnask, because just recently he released a new album that so far, it's, from what I've heard, it just kind of reminds me of like a lot of the stuff that the Icelandic black metal bands did. So it hasn't really won me over yet, but this album is absolutely stellar atmospheric black metal, because it just feels like this very, you know, esoteric, like arcane ritual is being performed the whole time. It is just very spiritual, but in the evil, diabolical sense. But again, has that very thick, dense atmosphere that's like trance-inducing. To me personally, this is like the album that really got me to be kind of, you know, not, I wouldn't say dedicated, but definitely interested with any and all Frienosk releases. So for me personally, if you want to check this band out, this is really like the best place to start out with this. It was put out through Von Records, and I'm pretty sure they have still vinyl copies available of this. And again, like always, when it's put out through Von, they're going to go above and beyond with the layout and packaging for it, because really, again, this is just a standard black vinyl edition of it, and it comes with all these goodies. So again, as for the layout and packaging, you have album artwork, backside. Comes with a printed inner sleeve with lyrics on each side. Also includes a double-sided A2 poster, so here is one side of it, and here's the other side. As well too, it comes with a 7-inch of the release with more bonus material. The 7-inch is right in this little pocket right here, which again, as I stated, Von always goes above and beyond with their packaging. Alright guys, that's it for this vinyl collection part. Like always, links will be provided to everything I talked about in the description below. And yeah, that is that. So like always guys, make sure you guys drink plenty of water to stay hydrated, and have a great day.